Yo, what's up, everyone? Angel Ram, second channel Ram, back once again with a brand new episode of Month of EVO, where we talk about one fighting game till EVO 2024. Yada yada. Now, for today's episode, we'll be talking about probably one of the most iconic games, not even just a fighting game, just games in general, in the history of mankind. Today, we're talking about Street Fighter 2. Now, if you don't know what Street Fighter 2 is, what are we doing? Even if you don't play fighting games, you probably know the existence of Street Fighter. Nonetheless, Street Fighter 2, the most iconic fighting game, even one of the most iconic games in general. So, I don't think this game needs very much introduction, so let's just talk about why Street Fighter 2 is probably so iconic. So, Street Fighter 2 was a big glow-up compared to Street Fighter 1 to Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 1 was, I'd say, not as popular as it was as Street Fighter 2. But then, yeah. I think Street Fighter 2 might have introduced all the iconic mechanics we know. I don't know, I might be speaking out of my butt for most of this, but this is just what I feel like. So, a little lore dump before we get into more. Street Fighter 2 is probably the first fighting game I played, either that or Brawl. Smash Bros. Brawl. One of those two. I played it a long time ago. Well, not that long. Yeah, a long time ago when I was really little. My dad has a SNES, and he had Street Fighter 2 on there. And me and my brother used to play when we were young. We didn't know how to play it. We just kind of spam buttons. And yeah, so this is kind of an attachment to me. Like, I've known Street Fighter 2. I played it every now and then, but now when I did the footage for this, I obviously knew what to do. I'm more familiar with it, so I was playing it with a bit more better. But yeah, so SF2 has the iconic cast that we know and love till this day. It introduced a lot of iconic characters. They already had some already established ones, like Sagat, Ryu, and Ken. I think Ken was in Street Fighter 1, I'm not sure. But we have our other main cast like Guile, Chun-Li, Blanca, Honda, Dawson, and Zangief, and Bison, Vega, and Balrog. So they all started from this game, the second version, and now to this day we know who they are because of Street Fighter 2. Now, I think Street Fighter 1 only had Ryu as playable, so this is a big change already from Street Fighter 1 to Street Fighter 2. You can play not only just Ryu, but all those 7 other characters. So that's very... I think in arcades, you could probably only play as Ryu and Ken in Street Fighter 1, and then there's 8 options in this one, so already a huge glow up. Now, it is easier to play than Street Fighter 1 as well, so it just feels a better game than Street Fighter 1, Street Fighter 2. Now, it has a bunch of iterations. We have Street Fighter 2, Ultra, which we've already covered, so if you haven't watched that one, check it out. There's Super Turbo, Champion Edition, Hyper Fighters. All these, like, Capcom really milked the flip out of Street Fighter 2. So, this isn't a dead game. There's many different versions. I'm talking about the first one, the very first one. So, yeah. Now for the video, I played the 30th Collection Edition. So, yeah, just a side note. I was gonna think about playing it on the original SNES just for old time's sake, but recording that's gonna be a little complicated, so I went the lazy route. But yeah, Street Fighter 2 is so iconic, man. All those, even if you don't play fighting games, you know what it is. All these original moves you can hear, like the Shoryuken, the Hadouken, all came from SF2. Well, all the iconic sounds, you know, all that stuff. It's like all these things a lot of things. It's just a very iconic game. I don't have to say too much about the cultural impact. It's just a very iconic game. It's the second version of Street Fighter, so it's probably the most popular Street Fighter 2 ever exists. If you know, passing Third Strike, 4, 6, 5, and 1. But 5 and 1 are obvious, but yeah, I think Street Fighter 2 is the most popular game to ever exist. It was definitely the starting for me. When I played Street Fighter 2 the first time, I didn't think I would like this genre of games as much, because it was just so complicated. The farthest we've ever gotten was on the Vega stage, and it was just really hard. Vega was hard. Even to this day, Vega is hard to fight in that game. But yeah, we never beat a arcade run. So we just spam buttons. So, but yeah, anyway. So, gameplay-wise, it's pretty standard. It establishes all those original moves. Everyone has very simple, like, I'm pretty sure everyone has only like 3-4 moves. Ryu has his Tatsu, his Shoyu, his Hadouken. I don't know if he has an air Tatsu yet, but he might. And like everybody else has 3 moves. Chun-Li has her spinning bird kick. Her, I don't know if she has Koken, but she has the spamming leg moves as well. So it's just everybody has only like 3 moves, which is very simple. It's a very simple game. It's very simple. There's no supers yet, and not until probably another version of Street Fighter 2 or until the alphas we get supers. Obviously the Ultra version has supers. It's already, well, Ultras like came out after like Street Fighter 5 maybe, but yeah. Street Fighter 2 has a very kind of like raw vibe to it. I don't know how to describe it, but like I know Street Fighter 2, playing it on the footage, it's kind of like really, it kind of loses its gore factor. I don't know, but like in Street Fighter 2, when you beat somebody, there's obviously a quote, and it shows the opponent all beat up, and like all blood and stuff. Like they kind of took that away in Street Fighter 2 through 5. I feel like Street Fighter 6 kind of has that, where like it shows damage over time, but it kind of loses that, which kind of sucks. That was is a little bit like kind of cool. It just loses that bit of a gore factor. Like even the versus thing is just kind of covered in veins and blood. Like it's just kind of MK-ish vibes, but that was pretty cool. I don't know why they took that away in the future games. But yeah, so story-wise, I don't think it has one. It doesn't develop one yet, in at least base Street Fighter 2. I'm mainly talking about the base one, because there's many versions of this game. I'm only talking about this one, and then I talk about Ultra, because this is basically 2 different versions of Street Fighter. But yeah, and then it's not until the new challenges where, or no, I think it's Hyper? It's one of them. In the version of Street Fighter 2, you get to eventually play as the other 4 villains, Sagat, Vega, Balrog, and Bison. Then in the other version, you can play as Cammy, Fei Long, T-Hawk, and DJ. I think that's the new challengers. So yeah, this is that version. I think in Champion or Turbo, you get to find Akuma, which is his first introduction. Street Fighter 2 is just iconic, like just gives the whole iconic characters, from Akuma to the main 4 villains to the new challengers, like all these characters. But then they take them all away in Street Fighter 3. But anyways, well, like back in Alpha, some of them. But yeah, so there's that. Obviously, the music of SF2 is very iconic. All these characters' themes and stuff like that get carried over even till this day. Even till this day, you can buy music for everybody's old themes from Street Fighter 2 and SF6. And SF5 is probably the last time they get implemented as themes. Because in Street Fighter 6, everyone's theme gets kind of 360'd. In Street Fighter 5, they just basically made it the best of each theme. And then in Street Fighter 6, everybody changes. But yeah, in this game, that's for everybody's iconic music, like Ryu's, Ken's, Chun-Li's, Cammy's, Balrog, like those are the ones I can think of that are pretty iconic. Like all these iconic. Street Fighter 2 is iconic. The word, man. Like it's just a staple in the Street Fighter history, much less fighting games as a whole. It probably inspired so many other fighting games to exist. Like from little lore I know, Street Fighter 2 inspired SNKs as a whole, just creating games. So that's just very cool. Like it just, if Street Fighter 2 didn't exist, I feel like a lot of games just wouldn't either. So if it weren't for this game, it's just a staple, man. It's just a staple. I don't know what else to say here. But yeah, modes wise, there's really only two: arcade mode and versus mode. To play against somebody, it's like an arcade game. So you pair up with somebody and you fight them, or at home, and consoles you can play it with somebody else. Like I think me and my brother used to play together, or me and my dad. But yeah. So yeah, it's really all much I can say about like general stuff in the game, because again, it's a very old game, so it's always gonna have that much stuff, especially for a fighting game. But yeah, Street Fighter 2 is just an iconic game, and yeah, I keep saying that like there's not much to talk about the game itself, but it has music, iconic characters, good, you know, the staple, and that's really all I can think of. Street Fighter 2 is just, if you haven't played Street Fighter 2 at least once in your life, what do we have? What's going on? But yeah, you should at least play Street Fighter 2 if you have played Street Fighter, any of them. If you haven't played it, just try it to see where everything started, you know? Street Fighter 1 is basically, I don't know, it's not as played as well. Like, it's not, I feel like it didn't succeed as well as Street Fighter 2 did, so if you want to play, long story short, if you're into fighting games that haven't played Street Fighter 2, you should probably do that right about now. 30's Collection is there, so if you want to play there. But yeah, long story short, Street Fighter 2, it's a must-play game in your life if you haven't played it. But yeah, Ultras is a good option as well, or the new Challengers, or Turbo, one of those. Just play any version of Street Fighter 2 at all. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this shorter episode of Month of EVO. If you guys did enjoy, like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 14. We're already 2 weeks into this. Next week is EVO, so that's very interesting. So I'll see you guys later.